Lionel Harvey of First Baptist Cathedral in Westbury. He is also part of our team here at the county. We have Isma Chowdhury from the Long Island Muslims, why am I blanking on the Islamic Center of Long Island. Thank you very much for joining us. And Rabbi Axelrod from Young Israel of Woodmere. We also have with us, as you can see, many police personnel. But we thought it was important to come together, our faith leaders and our community leaders and police leaders coming together with just a very simple message. So first of all, I just wanted to let everyone know that we have put our flags at half-mast to honor the two Capitol police officers who were killed last week in the events down in Washington, D.C., Howard Liebengood and Brian Sicknick. We also know that there are protests. We're reading in the news. We're all reading in the news about protests that are planned in 50 of the state capitals around the country. I do want to reassure our residents that there are no credible threats here in Nassau County. Our police intelligence unit continues to monitor everything, whether it's social media, constantly working with our federal partners, with our FBI, et cetera, on any chatter, on any possible events that could happen. You know, it's that intelligence-led policing that has led Nassau County to be the safest community in the country. So we're going to continue to rely on that and do everything we can to keep our residents safe. Now, I know that the past 10 months have left many people in our county, many people in our country emotionally exhausted. So we want to be that calm voice of reason, to take that deep breath and to let you know that we got you. Our number one concern at the local level, I'm not talking about politics, I'm not worrying about who you voted for. Our number one concern is your safety. That will always be our number one concern, no matter what else is swirling around in the rest of the country. We have the best police force, we have the best law enforcement here in Nassau County, and we're going to do everything we can to keep our residents safe. We're going to be looking out for our houses of worship. We're going to be looking out for our government buildings. We're going to be looking out for all of our neighborhoods and all of our communities. Again, it's not about politics. It's not about who you voted for. It's about safety, it's about security, and it's just about common sense and doing our job. You know, I do feel blessed to serve on the local level because our job in a lot of ways, while it's challenging with COVID and everything we have to do, it's tangible, real stuff. It's stuff that we can actually do to improve people's lives and augment their safety. You know, I have to just point out before, and we have Dr. Eisenstein here as well, because we're going to get into a little COVID as well, our health commissioner, who we'll get into that in a little bit. I just have to point out, it was 1 year ago today, on a day that was much colder than it is right now, that we led our march against anti-Semitism. Close to 3,000 people showed up, of all faiths, of all backgrounds, from all communities in our beautiful county, to take a stand against anti-Semitism with one voice. It was a year ago. Seems like a lot longer. It was just 1 year ago today. And I just have to say, speaking personally, when I hear about folks down in D.C. wearing T-shirts that said Camp Auschwitz or 6 million weren't enough, it's more important than ever that we come together. We say, no matter what your background is, no matter what your politics are, an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us, and we will not tolerate that here in Nassau County. I just want to speak briefly about COVID before I turn it over to the police commissioner for more details. So just shifting gears a bit, I really want to thank Commissioner Eisenstein and his team. I can't thank them enough, along with IT, Office of Emergency Management, Police Department, Homeland Security, all coming together, Department of Health, coming together to open up these 2 points of distribution for vaccines. Our focus remains on containing the virus. We're also working at full speed to get in vaccines in as many arms as possible, as quickly as we get them. And I feel like we can't get them quickly enough. As quickly as we get them, we're getting them into people's arms. Not one dose will be thrown away. Not one dose will be wasted. Every single dose we've gotten has gotten into a person's arm. And I am pleased with the progress that the county and our hospitals have made in such a short time in getting tens of thousands, well over 50,000 residents in Nassau County vaccinated to date. And I will continue to do everything I can to get our residents protected from this virus as quickly, efficiently, and safely as possible. So we are reliant on the federal government and then the state government for the supply. I want to make that clear. While we await and beg and cajole for more and more doses, the county, we're doing our part to mobilize these resources at a full scale to expedite the process. I'm getting the phone calls, I'm getting the emails, I'm getting the texts. We know there is a demand. Eligibility has opened way up. We want to meet that demand. The supply is not quite at the demand level. We're going to do everything we can to get them in and to get them out. All public-facing healthcare workers have been eligible since the vaccine began distribution. Now, law enforcement, fire service, other first responders, educators, transit workers, and folks 75 and older are also eligible. So there are several sites operating throughout the county. Nassau County itself operates 2 of those sites. We're operating 7 days a week. Those sites are Nassau Community College and the Yes We Can Community Center in Newcastle, Westbury. So far, our 2 sites have vaccinated 3,302 people. Beginning yesterday, actually, when you get that vaccination, you can make the appointment for the 2nd dose. So that started yesterday. Am I right about that, Dr. Larry?
Correct.
Okay. We will continue to build infrastructure and distribution as we receive additional doses from the state. I want to give a special thanks to Northwell Health that's been a great partner with us and helping us augment our supply. Please continue to visit nassaucountyny.gov/vaccine for details and to make an appointment. I know that a lot of people are going there. I know that appointments are filling up as quickly as they're open. It's like, back in the days when you wanted to go to a concert, the tickets are gone in 2 minutes. It's the same with the vaccine because the demand is outpacing supply at the moment. But continue to visit, just keep refreshing the site. If you're getting your vaccine at one of our locations, one of the county locations, I want to remind you that they're free. I want to remind you that immigration status is irrelevant. You can also use our website to make an appointment at Nassau University Medical Center and other locations. You can find Northwell, etc. on our website. And we will add additional sites as they become available. You have to have an appointment to have a vaccine. We can't make any exceptions to that. If there are no available appointments, as I say, keep refreshing, keep going back, and we will add them on a rolling basis. Now, I know, and I've heard loud and clear, there have been issues with the state registration system. We are reliant on the state registration system to get appointments done. So we ask people just to be patient. We also know now, it's been reported, New York State has launched Jones Beach as a site for vaccination. You can call the New York State hotline 1-833-NYS-4-VAX, V-A-X, the number 4 and VAX. So I will turn it over to the police commissioner now, and then we can turn it over to our community leaders and then to questions.
Thank you and good morning. First, I want you to know that the intelligence community is working around the clock and have been working around the clock since a lot of the issues, especially with the event that occurred last week down in D.C. I've had briefings from the FBI, NYPD, and our state police. We are all working together to make sure that we keep our communities safe. At this time, there is no credible threat. And when I say that to you, it's what's going on is this non-specific groups that are going over the internet, these anti-government type groups that are going using social media platforms to put out messages that of an insurrection that we should do at our government buildings and our state capitals. This is no different than the game plan that a terrorist used when they try to stoke those lone wolves and bring them to act out. We're on top of that information. Intelligence is only as good as those that act upon it. We on Nassau County are acting upon it. The county exec has given all the full resources to make sure that we protect our government buildings and our houses of worship. These events will get, and the briefings will continue up until including the date of January 20th and the inauguration. We've been on high alert since the events of the Capitol. We've already increased some of our patrols, intensified those patrols around our infrastructure. We always protect our people's First Amendment rights here in Nassau County. We will continue to do so, but we will not tolerate criminal mischief or violence in this county. Since 2020, with the protest and the unrest, we've had over 300 protests here in Nassau County. Over 45,000 people have walked through the streets here in Nassau County, exercising that First Amendment. We have had no criminal mischief, and we've had no violence. That is a credit to the men and women of the law enforcement community out here in Nassau County. We teach the art of de-escalation, verbal judo, bring it down, and we're doing that right now by using this media to get the same message out. We won't tolerate violence, we won't tolerate criminal mischief, but at the same time, we will allow you to exercise your First Amendment. We've identified over several hundred critical infrastructure that we will be patrolling. Government buildings. There are 135 government buildings here in Nassau County. The Nassau County Police Department will be responsible for securing those buildings and making sure that they're secure. Hospitals, there's 11. We will be talking with all the hospital security this week to let them know what their security plans are and what we can do to assist them. The 56 school districts, our Homeland Security Office has already been in contact with those school districts and their securities regarding their plans. 486 houses of worship. We work hand in hand, day in and day out with our houses of worship to make sure that they're getting the patrols that they need and to keep them all safe, especially during prayer services. 59 transportation centers, again, and also 71 fire departments. We'll be asking the fire departments to staff their buildings during the events of the 20th and up to it to make sure that they have eyes out there. I ask you all to do the same. If you see something, say something. We need to know if there's something that you're concerned about. 1.4 million people out here. It is our job to protect you. We're the experts. We'll do our job. But we can always use the help. If you have something, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Ryder. And now I'm going to invite our community leaders to speak, and I'll start with Isma Chowdhury from the Islamic Center of Long Island.
Good morning. I would like to thank the County Executive and Nassau County Police Commissioner and the Police Department. At this time, the minority communities and the faith-based communities do feel very vulnerable because especially during the prayer hours, prayer services, the Muslim community has Friday services, which is a huge service. Of course, everybody is observing social distancing, but still, the community members go to the mosques, they pray over there. There are children, there are women, there are men in ethnic garb. So I would really like to thank for all the support that the county and the police department is putting out towards the houses of worship and the ethnic minorities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chowdhury. And now I'd like to invite Rabbi Axelrod from Young Israel of Woodmere.
So I, too, just want to thank our County Executive, Laura Curran, Police Commissioner Ryder, for really their dedication and sensitivity to all the faith communities that are in Nassau County. They constantly have our safety and our security in mind, and it's striking the right balance between the exercise of our First Amendment rights in terms of communities protesting or having their particular thoughts and political thoughts, but also making sure that we have, within a safe environment, that we're protected, we have a sense of safety. And we thank you so much for your dedicated efforts.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Axelrod. And now we're going to hear from Bishop Lionel Harvey of First Baptist Cathedral in Westbury.
Thank you, County Executive, and thank you, Commissioner Ryder. I can't help but reflect on where we are as a nation during this period of time. When I look at our Constitution, we hold these things to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, first of all, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And when life is threatened, when life finds itself living on the edge of quiet desperation, we thank God for our county executive and for this great police department that will provide safety for us. Everybody wants the same thing, and I would hope that the moment that took place over at the Capitol in D.C. did not go away in vain, but it calls us to take a time to pause and to reflect on where we are as a nation, where we are as a people. As we stare in the mouth of Dr. King's birthday, the he was about nonviolence, and he understood some things. As we reflect on where we are now as a people, we can do much better. When you know better, you do better. So we thank you so very much for watching out for the faith-based communities to ensure that we're able to exercise our worship experiences and that the people have a safe place. We call it a sanctuary, and that means that it should be a place where people can be able to exercise their religious rights and to be able to come together in the spirit of koinonia, fellowship one with the other, and be safe and secure. That's what this great nation has always been about, and my prayer is that as we reflect on where we've been, that we move forward. The Bible talks about forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth into those things which are before. We press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling, which is in God. And we've got to stay in the press and know that we're better than this. God bless you.
Thank you very, very much, Bishop, for those truly inspiring words. And, you know, you hear from faith leaders. We have in this country the freedom of speech and the freedom of religion. It's our job, our government's job, is to preserve those and to let people practice both safely. And that's what we're going to do and will continue to do. Happy to take any questions.
About the frustrations regarding getting a vaccine appointment. Clearly, you've heard people are very frustrated, especially elderly people who don't have it. Is anything being done to improve the performance of the county website, including adding additional days? Right now, you can only make an appointment for tomorrow. Adding to people's frustrations, they can't schedule ahead. Might that improve?
Yeah, so as you know, we are reliant on the state system for making appointments. We have to use the state system for making appointments. So I am pushing the state to troubleshoot those IT issues so people can make appointments more efficiently and get their vaccination. Now that we have two problems here. The good thing is that we have increased eligibility for who can get the vaccine. That's good. But we don't have the supply of doses at the moment to meet the demand, and we are having these IT issues, and we are pushing the state to troubleshoot those issues to get them fixed because people are frustrated, and I don't blame them.
And can I add to that?
Yes, of course.
So I think this is a really important point. The reason that you only have one day out for us to make appointments is because we don't have vaccine to go beyond that. And a worst scenario would be if we made thousands of appointments and never had vaccine to fill them and had to cancel everybody. So let me give you an example. Yesterday evening, a 500-dose supply arrived on top of the little inventory that we had. We made those appointments available for today. We opened it up immediately. They were gone in 20 or 30 minutes. But as soon as we have vaccine or even confirmation of vaccine, we are making those appointments available. So if today we know that thousands of doses are coming in, we will open up appointments for the rest of this week. There's no concerted effort here to do anything but get vaccine in arms as quickly as possible. But we also don't want to mislead people that they can come in on Thursday or Friday and get a vaccine if we don't have vaccine. And it's really important, as the county executive said, it's not the county website. We have to use the state booking agent. It's just as frustrating for us when we want to go on and see what's going on. So I know people are frustrated. It's just a matter of we get doses in allotments of 500 or 1,000 or a couple of thousand, and we have hundreds of thousands of people that want vaccine right now. It is simply a matter of the demand is dramatically outweighing the supply, but we are doing everything we can to make sure that as soon as we know we have doses, we activate them. So people ask me, what time do you activate them? Is there a time? As soon as we know we get them. So we urge people, and sometimes we can be in a pod and we know we have cancellations or something like that. We'll activate them on the spot. So people should check back every so often. As people do receive vaccine, there'll be less people demanding in the system. It will get better. And the other thing, you addressed people 75 and over. That is very important. That is one of our prime missions to make sure that our most vulnerable population have access to vaccine, and we are working on an initiative with the Office of the Aging to make sure that we are reaching seniors who may not have computers, who may not be technologically savvy, and we are putting a program in place that's going to start as soon as this week to make sure that we're reaching seniors, the most vulnerable populations, and we'll have more details on that. But absolutely, the only thing is we couldn't implement anything until we have vaccine, and so that's the rate limiting. The allotments come out. So, for example, I could give you a number, but it might be wrong in 2 hours, so I'd rather not. For example, last night I got a call from Northwell. The hub was allotting us 500 extra doses. We're using it today. So we could, today we're vaccinating 1,000 people. We have 1,000 appointments today. I could do that and more if we get it, but that would require 7,000 doses a week to do 7 days a week. That's not our allotment at this point. So it's you know, we're asking for as much as we can get. The good news is we hope as more product becomes available that it will dramatically increase. And adding the third and fourth product that are getting close to approval to the market within, I don't know how many weeks, but within weeks, there should be a much, much bigger supply. So we just ask people to be patient with us. As soon as we get it, we're putting it into arms. And I know it's frustrating for people who are desperate to get vaccine, but we are doing everything we can, and the system, there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people trying to get those few precious appointments. That's all that it is.
For Commissioner or for County Executive, as the evidence started to pour out from the Capitol, has there been any signs or indications that any county employee or even any Nassau County resident was caught up in this storming of the Capitol? And if so, what can you tell me about it?
As of now, there have been no Nassau County employees that were involved in that incident.
Are you aware of any Nassau County resident of any kind? Anything?
That has not been brought to our attention. We speak with the FBI. If they identify people, they'll bring it to our attention.
Commissioner Ryder, you had said there was nothing specific, right, in terms of threats, but general threats. Can you describe the nature of these general threats?
So these anti-government groups are getting together. They're using social media platforms. They're putting out these viral messages to go and attack. We got to have these insurrections at our state agencies on the 20th to let them know so they can be heard. They're just, nobody's in nowhere in this country that are blasting out these messages. They go viral and they get traction. And what they do is they take some lone wolf that sits at home and looks at this stuff and finally says, you know what, it's time for me to act out. Just like the knuckleheads did in Washington. Same thing. It can't happen, and it won't happen here in Nassau.
So it's no secret that in the New York metropolitan area, Trump had a lot of support on Long Island. And I know you said it's not about politics, but given that there was so much support for Trump on Long Island, is that in the back of your mind, people's politics?
Every piece of intelligence we go through, as we get it, we don't work on what it could be. You know, we're working on what the intel tells us, the data tells us, and we analyze it, and we speak again with great intelligence partners with the NYPD. So there have been those who acted on both sides all year long. It's been that kind of year. So am I concerned about it? It's not a political issue for me. It's about a law and order. That's what we deal here in the county.
Wait, sorry, not that story, but for the county executive or for Dr. Eisenstein, the Trump administration today said they want to speed up vaccines for people 65 and over. I mean, it seems it's already difficult for people 75 and over. Can you just, is that practical?
So we're following New York State's guidance. New York State is controlling the process through the hub at Northwell. We are on call with them multiple times every day. They've been a great partner. Right now, the state Group 1B guidance is 75 or over. So as of right now, that's what we're following. If that changes, we'll adjust with it.
And Dr. Eisenstein, could you just characterize the rollout so far?
It's been fantastic, fabulous. If anybody has been to our pods, I've been there. I've done a lot of, just walking around and making sure everything's going smoothly. People are grateful. People are appreciative. We're asking and requiring that people only make appointments if they're eligible. We did have people who made appointments and said, then were upset when they got turned away. If you're not eligible, the governor's been very clear with us. We cannot vaccinate somebody who is not eligible. Other than that little glitch and the massive interest on the computer system, it has been a great start. We've had no illness in anybody we've vaccinated. The observation period has gone well. Our public is, I think my characterization of this launch has been fantastic.
Thank you.
right, so as you know, the governor has issued Executive Order 203. We have been working full tilt to fulfill that executive order. And as you know, we've been talking about this. We've had more than 60 community meetings, meetings with all of our constituents in any way that we can possibly do it in the age of COVID. And I look forward to any and all input. The draft, it's sort of a bullet-pointed, very rough draft of how we're going to fulfill that executive order. That's on our website. It's nassaucounty.ny.gov/EO203. We're asking everyone in the county, anyone within the sound of my voice, have a look at it. If there are things you think we need to clarify, add, take out, any input that you have, any group, any person out there, we welcome any input, and I am proud of the input that we've had from all of the groups. And you'll see, we're gonna be able to trace this. There's so much input. We want to make sure, everyone knows where the input came from, and that will inform making sure our goal to conform with the executive order or not. Our goal is always to increase trust between police and the community that they serve, and that's what we're going to continue to do. I can say, I know that there will be more input from everyone, and we welcome that input. This is all part of the input process.